Okay, so we want to just have a look at how we might figure out the time signature if we're not given one. So here's a piece of music, and the first thing to do is just count up how much stuff is in a bar. So in this case, there's some obvious measures here that are kind of simple looking. One's a quarter rest and one's a quarter, and then another quarter rest and another quarter. So that looks like 4 quarter notes. So my first guess right from the start is going to be that this is in 4/4. Now that might be right, might be wrong, but we know that 4/4 is also a simple meter because there's a 4 on top. Remember, simple meters are always a 2, 3, or 4 for the top number, and compounds are always a 6, 9, or 12. So in this case, we've probably got 4/4. Now we know if it's simple meter, we should see groups that have 2 equal notes in them. So I see 2 eighth notes grouped here. I see 4 16th notes grouped here, so it looks like groups of 2 and 4. And then I also need to check some of the other groups just to make sure. So this one has an 8th and 2 16ths. That can be deceivingly looking like 3 notes, but they're not equal. They need to be equal parts. So I can either think of that 8th note as 2 16ths, which means this group is really 4 16ths, or I can think, oh, 2 16ths are an 8th, and that's an 8th, that's a 2 8th note group. So I can actually think of this group here, this second beat of the third measure, as really just a 2 8th note group or a 4 16th note group. So at this point, I've covered my 2 things. I've counted how much time is in every measure, and I've also checked to see how my beats are grouped, how my notes are being grouped together. And now I'm sure. I've got 4 clear beats here. It's 4/4 for sure. Let's look at another. How about this one? All right, I'm going to count up the simplest measure I can find. 6 8th notes right there. Now, is it 6/8 or is it 3/4? It's hard to tell right now. We have to check the groups first. So this could be 50-50. This is either 6/8 or 3/4. I see groups of 2 eighth notes. So 6/8 is a compound, 3/4 is a simple. Seeing groups of 2 here right away makes me think this is probably the simple one, which means 3/4, not 6/8. Do I see other places where things are being grouped in 2s and 4s? Okay, over here I've got a group of 4 and another group of 4. This has to be in 3/4. This can't be 6/8 because there aren't any even groups of 3. And this one, if we're going to look at this other group here, I see a dotted 8th, that's 3 16ths, and then one more 16th, that's 4 16ths again. I'm seeing lots of groups of 2 and 4. That must mean simple meter. And then the last thing to check is, how many groups do I see? Well, that first measure we looked at, measure 2, has 3 clear groups, so probably 3 beats. This is even more sure that this is 3/4 now. And if we look at the last measure, we also see 1, 2, 3 clear quarter note size groups. Let's look at another. How about this one? This is also 6 8th notes worth of stuff in a measure. But now, how are they being grouped? I'm seeing a group of 3 8th notes and a group of 3 8th notes. So this one's also 50-50. It's either 3/4 or 6/8. But I'm seeing equal groups of 3 notes. And then looking at another beamed group, I see 2 16ths, which really count as an 8th, and then 2 more 8ths. That's another group of 3 8th notes. I'm also seeing our Humpty Dumpty rhythm. Humpty Dumpty. That long, short rhythm that we see so often in 6/8. So I'm seeing 2 clear groups. I know there are 6 8ths. 6 on top in a compound meter means 2 beats per measure. This looks like 1 enda, 2 enda to me. So I'm going with 6/8 for that one. Let's check another one. How about this one? Well, the easiest thing to count is these 4 8th notes here, but I don't see 4 beats, so it's probably not 4/8. It's not the time signature 4/8. But I do see 2 8ths make a quarter, 2 8ths make a quarter. This is clearly 2 beats, and they're grouped in groups of 2. This must be 2/4. There's no other possibility there. Let's check another one. How about a weird one like this one? What do we have here? I see 3 equal things here. I see 3 equal things here. So it's probably some kind of triple meter, right? We have some kind of 3, 3, 1. We have some kind of 1, 2, 3 group meter. Now, how many things are actually in here total? I've got 3/16, 3/16, 3/16. Well, that's already sounding like 9/16 to me. Does this all work out that way? Or am I seeing, is it a 9/16? Is it a compound meter? Are there 3 parts to my groups to make it compound? I'm seeing some full groups that look like groups of 3. I'm looking at 3 equal things here, dotted eighth notes, that all look like they're beats because they're evenly spaced through that whole measure. And I know that a 9 on top is also compound for a 3-beat meter. So this is probably 9/16. It's actually not probably, it's definitely 9/16. All right, so let's look at one more and see what you think. So you might pause for a second and see if you can figure it out on your own. I'm seeing a group of 6 equal parts here. I'm seeing 2 very clear dotted half notes filling an entire measure. So there's 6 quarters in this. Here's over here 3 quarters, and then a dotted half is also 3 quarters. So it's either 6/4 or it's 3/2. The question is does it look like 2 beats or does it look like 3? Well, I'm seeing 2 halves with dots on them. That kind of looks like 2 beats to me. I also see a dotted half and then a very clear group of 6 notes. 6 notes is probably compound, right? Also, we see one of our cliche rhythms here, short, long, 1 and a, 2 and a in the third measure. So I'm going to go with 6/4 for this one. Starting to make more sense? Hope so. Good luck on that quiz.